response there, Russ?
No, I didn't do a very good job last time. Welcome back. We're glad you're with us on this Friday. The historic Mabry-Hazen House, which is located near downtown Knoxville, has a brand new event for Halloween this year.
Yes, Emily DeVoe joins us from the house where there may be some restless spirits lurking in the parlor or maybe some of the other rooms.
Well, when the Mabry-Hazen House was built in 1858, seances were a popular social event in Knoxville and all over the country. Now, this weekend, the Mabry-Hazen House is giving you a chance to experience a Victorian seance. We'll go inside and check it out.
Welcome to the General's house. I am John Bell, a good friend of the Mabrys. The seance is right this way.
And we're here with Patrick Hollis, the executive director of the museum. Patrick, tell us what would go on at these seances back then?
Well, it depended upon what you were looking for. For some, it was looking for remorse and getting over grief. Other was entertainment, and for many others, it was making just a little bit of money.
And this is a first for the event at the house. You guys have worked on this for a while. What will people in 2018 experience when they walk in?
Well, they will experience true demonstrations of the afterlife and of spirit manifestations.
And when you were researching this, what did you find about the popularity of seances in Knoxville back in the 1850s or so?
Well, by 1897, there were 8 million adherents to spiritualism in the United States. But here in Knoxville, we found ads as early as 1871 promoting seances here at places like Staub's Theater.
And it's a little spooky, but really educational. People will learn about the seances, and you have a little bit about one of the former residents of the house. Just briefly tell me about that.
Right. Well, you're going to come and actually participate in as close of a seance from the 19th century as possible. And then we also have a new temporary exhibit that looks at kind of the supernatural beliefs and interests of one of the last descendants here, Evelyn Hazen.
Alrighty, so a good way to bring in Halloween next week and learn a few things about the Mabry-Hazen House. It's tonight, Saturday night, and Sunday night. Tickets are $20, and they're still available.